All right, all right, all right. And we are live. Yo, yo, yo. Tell me what you know. Welcome to the Sunshine Show. Woo! Today, this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever in the world you may roam, because that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Sunshine Show is worldwide. I have such a special treat for you. I have the one and only, the most amazing, the most fabulous, the most phenomenal, the most bowie of them all. I have Tiggy Bass out of the UK in the house. What's up, Tiggy?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I am doing so well. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. Yeah, good.
Awesome. Whereabouts in the UK are you?
So I'm sort of like southwest kind of way, so sort of near the bottom of Wales, but not in Wales, if that makes sense.
Well, do you know Dr. Funk or Sarah Plays a Bass?
I've heard of Dr. Funk. I've never met him. I do know Becky as well, Becky Baldwin. She's really cool.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice, Becky. And then Kiara Kenworthy is out there as well.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah.
So many really cool bass players out of the UK. Is Cece out of the UK too, Don? Is that what you're saying? Yes? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So amazing female bassists out there. All right, all right, all right. I'm excited to get this party started. Are you ready to get this party started?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, very good. So, first question, everybody wants to know why the bass guitar?
Cliff Burton is why the bass guitar. So I started music. I started playing on keyboard. I did lessons for 5 years, and then I wasn't getting anywhere with it. It was good to sort of learn the theory side of things, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I didn't do any grades or anything, and I was like, oh, I want to play an instrument, but I don't know what to play. My dad's a guitarist, so I thought, okay, I'll have a go at guitar. Didn't suit me at all. I'm left-handed. I like to play right-handed, so the idea of trying to play with a pick with my right hand didn't work well. So I was just sort of chilling. I got really into Metallica, and then I saw the video of Cliff Burton playing the intro to For Whom the Bell Tolls on Day on the Green, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, that I want to do that.
You were sold.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, Cliff Burton. So yeah, if I were to ask you Cliff Burton or Geddy Lee, what would be your answer?
Cliff Burton. I mean, I love Geddy Lee. I think he's a brilliant bass player. I mean, I've been learning Fly By Night recently as well. It's a very difficult song, but it's a really good bass line. But Cliff every day of the week.
Very, very nice. We got Forsyth Imogene in the house, all the way out of Arizona. What's going on, Burke? How you doing? Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions for myself or the one and only Tiggy Bass, just drop them there in the comment section, and I will get to them as soon as possible. All right, Tiggy. So, how many years have you been playing bass? About
It was 8 at the start of March. Yeah, 8 years. I
8
was
years.
13, I think, when I started. Yeah.
Wow, very, very cool. So tell me about the projects that you've been in since you've started playing bass.
So I started in a few local bands, kind of thing, playing in the local scene, and then COVID hit, which wasn't ideal because obviously I was just getting into the scene and everything, and then everything just went to pieces. Kept in touch with the band members, but essentially the band just sort of fizzled out. And this is where the Instagram thing came in, and I was learning Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden, and I'd been working on it and working on it for so long, and I finally got the bit that I wanted to be able to do. And I filmed it and I put it on my Instagram, and I was like, actually, I quite like the idea of doing this. So I then started filming more and more covers and posted a bit more. And that's when I sort of started to sort of build my Instagram up a little bit. And then heading out of COVID, I was in third year of university. I studied bass at uni, which is great, but third year was very full on, lots of essays and stuff. So wasn't that much time to look into projects and stuff, which was kind of infuriating because I just wanted to get out and play again. Yeah, and then after that, what did I do after that? Oh yeah, obviously finishing uni and stuff, looking for a job, and I really struggled for a while, like trying to find a job. Like as much as Instagram, like is my, I don't know, the one thing I like, my bass and stuff. The one thing I want to do, like not necessarily Instagram, but like be a bass player is like obviously the one thing that would be great to be able to do full time. Obviously, got to be able to sustain yourself as well. So I was looking for a job for a while, and then I finally got one. And I work full time now, and so I'm just sort of getting back into the flow of everything. So I've got a couple of projects on the go at the moment. I've got a few in the background. They're not at the point where they're ready to like, go yeah, if you know what I mean. A lot of background writing and stuff. A couple of opportunities have come up yet that aren't completely finalized, but well, as and when, if they are, I will obviously let everyone know about them. And yeah, I'm doing a couple gigs at the moment with this band called Allen, who are amazing. They're really, really good. And yeah, it's really good fun to play with them.
Very nice. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not, but I have a 200-pound mini pig right by my side, and he is like moaning over here. All right, so it's not me. It's not my stomach. It's the pig, and he's like, "Meow." I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but it's pretty hilarious. I got my beautiful wife, Lindsay, in the house. What's up, Lindsay? How you doing today? Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your equipment. What kind of bass are you playing out of?
I think anyone who knows me and follows me on Instagram knows that I am through and through an Ibanez girl. I love Ibanez with a passion. I've got five, I think. Five now. I've got three 5 strings and 2 4 strings. And then I also have a Hohner bass as well, which was my very first bass. I got it when the strings were like 30 years old and the action was like this. So yeah, that was interesting to play for a while. But yeah, Ibanez through and through.
Very nice. Are you endorsed by Ibanez yet?
Not yet, and yet is the key word that I really want to be. I'd love to be endorsed by Ibanez. I mean, I rep their bases and everything. Like, even if I'm not, like, I love their equipment so much. And it's like, it was a fluke of the draw as well. I was like looking after playing on my Hohner for a while. I wanted to get a bass that was mine because obviously this one was a hand-me-down from one of my uncles. So I was looking on GAC, which is like an online music shop, and I just saw the red one that I play. I think it's my main one, and I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and I got it, and it was literally I couldn't have like got it like any better. Like, it's just the best fit for me. It's slimline. I just love how it feels, and I was just sold.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit about your playing style. Do you like to slap? Are you more of a finger picker? Do you like to play with a pick? Tell me all the deets.
So definitely more of a fingerstyle player. I do like obviously playing with my fingers. Pick, as I said, it's a little bit harder for me because I associate playing with a pick like as if you were to write with a pencil, and obviously it's in my non-dominant hand, so I find it a little bit more difficult. I can play with a pick, just not very well. And yeah, I do love to slap as well. Slapping's good fun, and I've been working on like a triplet 3-finger kind of like thing as well, which is good fun, and tapping as well. I've been trying to work on that.
Very cool. So I actually found you through Instagram, and you kind of mentioned your Instagram earlier. How long did it take you to build the following that you have? Because you have quite the following.
Yeah, I guess so. So I think obviously, as I said, it started during lockdown was like the main sort of point where I was like, okay, I think I want to start doing this. So I did that for a while, and I think initially it was quite slow because obviously it's still trying to get to grips with sort of knowing the audience that are watching and sort of just getting to grips with it and what looks best, what sounds best, recording just through my phone or recording using equipment, and sort of honing in those little bits. And now that I've sort of found what like the niche and stuff and things, I sort of find that's that is sort of like gotten me on a bit more of an upwards track with it.
Sure. And by going through your page, it looks like you're pretty consistent with the aesthetic, which I really like a lot. I feel like that's very important when trying to maintain an image or a brand.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the main things. Like, for anyone who starts out on Instagram, that's like the biggest thing I can recommend to anyone is like build your brand and have the things that people can associate you with. Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna come down from the screen to let the pig out of the room. Um,
Okay.
so funny saying that. So tell me about how much of your day do you actually spend making content for your pages to share with your fans?
Um, maybe once a week if necessary. Maybe once a week on like set days. I practice. I teach as well. On one of the evenings of I think it's on Tuesdays. And I usually use the time after those lessons because I'm already in the zone to sort of practice. Um, and yeah, so I'm sort of the planning side of things takes a while as well. So actually sitting to sort of plan, knowing what I want to make and the songs that I want to turn into videos. So yeah, I think like it takes a while, especially like on songs that are difficult. Trying not to make mistakes and getting infuriated and stuff. So it can go from anywhere for like an hour to make one kind of like one piece of content to like half a day or something.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much I spent, or I used to when I would do covers of songs and stuff, because I always felt like I had to get every single night, every single note correct, and you want to play it exactly the way that the person was playing it, and it can be very overwhelming at times, very tedious.
100%, very much so. It's just get the info. I mean, I've like the amount of times I've maxed out the storage on my phone trying to get one take of like good take of one song. Yeah.
And do you find that it's normally the takes that you do earlier on, or are you actually taking from the videos later on in the day? Because sometimes I feel like the best takes are always at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. I mean, I sort of tend to take like if something's gone wrong in the first couple of videos or there's something I don't like, I'll sort of change it a little bit and then redo it. But I always find it's the ones where I sort of like where I get to that point where I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. I just want to get one more take, and I sort of just relax a little bit more. Those are the ones that I find are actually the better takes.
And how now you mentioned you have a full-time job. How are you juggling your full-time job and this bass presence that you've created?
Yeah, it's difficult at the moment. I'm just still getting to grips with it. So mainly on weekends and evenings that I don't do things. So I do jujitsu as well, which is really good fun. Yeah, I started doing that back in September, I think it was, and I absolutely love it. So I do that a few times a week as well. So sort of having to sort of balance when I do that and then when I do my bass stuff, it is difficult, but I'm getting the hang of it now. I'm sort of getting the idea of when I'm consistently free to be able to do those things and when I'm not.
Nice. So not only are you a kick butt bassist, but you also are your own bodyguard.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Let's see what my beautiful secretary Dawn is saying down in the basement. Dawn says, Kelsey from Bass Players United, Kelsey K and I just talked about this. Reels seem to be the way, 1 minute long, less chance of mistakes and better content. Well, thank you, Donovan, for that.
Yeah, I definitely find reels are like since they introduced reels, I mean they're the easiest way of like or making content and getting it to a like an extended audience as well.
And it was kind of cool because they were offering the incentive program, so you could also make money off of the reels. And Instagram just announced that they are putting an end to that program, and it kind of breaks my heart, Tiggy.
Yeah, me too. I didn't even know that was a thing.
What?
Need to do more research. Yeah, I didn't know that they had this as a thing. Oh
Yeah.
well, maybe next time.
Well, they're supposed to be reinventing the wheel and offering a different kind of monetization. So I look forward to seeing what Instagram provides, because I feel like TikTok is a platinum that pays. YouTube is a platinum platform that pays. But you know, Instagram and Facebook, they haven't really stepped up to the plate yet.
No, I
And
definitely think they should.
I think it's important because us as like content creators, we offer a lot of free content to these platforms. The least they could do is, you know, offer us a little bit of kickback.
Yeah, for sure, I get that, and it's like obviously we're all doing what we love, and it would be really nice to sort of get that recognition. Recognize? Is that
Yeah,
recognition? That's
we're
get
both.
the recognition for it. Yeah.
All right, very cool. So we talked about Becky Baldwin, Sarah plays a bass, all these amazing female bassists out of the UKCC. Do you guys ever get together and have like female bass day?
We haven't, but I think that would be an amazing idea. I would love to do something like that. I mean, I watched Fury not too long back, and I had a chat with Becky about everything, and she was so lovely. But yeah, it'd be nice to sort of get everyone together and have this sort of meet. That would be awesome.
That would be so amazing. Tiggy, have you been to the United States yet?
I've been once. I went to Florida when I was younger, but I would
Oh,
like to come to music at some point. Yes,
did you go to Disneyland or Disney
that was it.
World?
Yeah, Disney.
Very, very cool. All right, you guys, we are hanging out with Tiggy on the bass, all the way from the UK. If you have any questions, drop them there in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can. All right, girl, what kind of rig are you playing out of? What does your amp look like these days?
So I use an Ampeg Rocket bass. I think
Ooh.
they're brilliant. They're really good combo amps, and I think they just sound amazing. I used them when I went on tour with Ruse, which was again that was an incredible experience for me. But yeah, Ampeg, and I've got a couple of pedals on my board at the moment. I use the Dark Glass Ultra. I think I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really good preamp. Recommend it to everyone. But yeah, just a sort of typical kind of tuner distortion. Yeah, not too much going on, but I'd like to get to the point where I actually do have quite a bit going on.
Very nice. Don, who did we just interview that also used dark glass? Remind me there in the comment section. I cannot remember, but that was almost the first time that I heard somebody say that also uses dark glass. So that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
what were you talking about this tour?
Yes, so back, I think it was a year and a bit ago now, I went on tour with Ruse. I think it was for like the Revive Live tour, and it was like the best experience like of my life musically for sure. Like, yeah, actually getting the experience of having a rider, which was like the new thing. I think I asked for sour cream and chive Pringles and Magic Stars because I was like, just for the sake of it, I was like, I don't know what to get, so I'll just get these snacks. Like, but yeah, that was really good fun.
How did you get that opportunity?
Instagram. Yeah, it was Instagram. So Shauna, who's sort of the mastermind behind Ruse, she just messaged me and was like, "Look, we're looking for a bass player for this tour. Don't know if you might be able to help out." And I was like, "Well, I would love to." Like, so I did like a little audition with them. Got on really well with her and Sam, and yeah, so she invited me, and I was absolutely like stoked. I was having the best time.
Very cool. Tell us a couple of your favorite experiences. I will be back in like less than 20.
Okay. Favorite experiences? Oh, definitely the Ruse tour. I mean, as I said, I could go on about that forever. I also did not too long back. I did my very first theatre pick work. So I did that for Carrie the Musical, which was very intense having to learn the amount of songs I had to learn because I think I had to learn around 30, and obviously it's all sheet music, which I did. I do know how to read sheet music, but not as extensively as I had to. So having to learn that on top of learning the songs was quite difficult, but it was a real challenge. So I really, that was amazing. Like such good fun. And yeah, just performing live. I've had a couple of gigs where I performed at some of my local venues that they were amazing. Sort of getting them like we got a few filmed and stuff, which was really good fun. But yeah, I think those at the moment.
Very nice.
One. Metallica commented on one of my Instagram posts, and I think I was like, I was in the middle. I'd just done a photo shoot, and we were in the middle of editing, and I just was sort of checking my phone, and it popped through, and I literally screamed. I felt awful because I was at this guy's house, and his parents were downstairs, and I was just sort of like, I'd go through editing the photos and just making sure I was happy with them, and I just literally screamed. I was like, oh my god, like this is the best thing ever.
Wow, that is so cool. Did you like have the comment printed out and framed and put up on your wall?
I'm going to, yeah. I think I need to. My proudest moment.
Very cool. All right, let's see. We got Daniel Bayanez in the building. What's up, Daniel? He wants to know, do you play any other instruments besides the bass?
Yeah, so keyboard is probably the thing that I always go back to as well, like because I teach as well. Knowing the ins and outs of theory on a keyboard is a lot easier to show people than it is trying to figure out on a bass, because that can get confusing and stuff. So sort of explaining it to someone like that, where you can see all the notes outright, and then showing them what it sounds like on a bass is really helpful, I find. So yeah, keyboard, and I can play some chords on guitar. I can sort of have a bit of a jam on guitar, but yeah, bass is my main instrument.
Very nice. So, what are the ages of the people that you teach?
They span from like teenager to sort of like older. Not to not be rude.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So, all ages.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And what do you find is the most difficult thing when trying to teach somebody the bass guitar?
I think it's just like encountering new things that I haven't with other people before. Like if someone has maybe someone has an issue with timing, or like is really having an issue trying to get notes in the right places or getting the right note pattern, finding the right exercises and things that actually will help them, rather than sort of sit there and be like, get it right. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, sort of finding the right things and being patient, and I think that's a very important part of it for sure.
It definitely takes a special person to have enough patience to teach anything, much less music, music theory, things of that nature. Do you prefer reading music or do you prefer learning by ear?
Learning by ear for sure. Like I would rather sit there and try and figure something out, but also if I need help with it, I'm not against looking at tabs. And even sheet music if I absolutely need to, but tabs are probably like the way to go if you're learning something like bass or guitar.
All right, very nice. So, what other opportunities has your Instagram and social media presence brought to you? You've already been able to go on tour. You've
Yes.
have you gotten you're endorsed by a string company, right?
Not yet. No, I haven't got any endorsements yet. No, I know who I'd like to be endorsed by, and I'm really trying to push it. So hopefully, sometime in the future, I will do. Because I use Ibanez for my bass. I mean, and a deal with Ibanez would be the best thing ever. And the same goes for DR strings as well. I love DR strings.
DR strings. That's right. Those are the green strings that you have on your
Yes,
bass.
yes, yeah, the green ones, and I've also got black ones as well. Yeah.
They really make it pop. I really love that color.
Yeah, they really do, and it's just I love how they feel and love how they play. And yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to use anyone else.
All right, let's see. What has Donovan got for us? He says, I've seen the local music scene is amazing in the UK. Do you have a local pub you play at? Like at open mics or anything like that?
So not necessarily, there aren't many pubs in my area, but there are like in the sort of center of the city that I live in. There's a lot of like venues that sort of everyone goes through, that are really good to play, and I've played quite a few of those, which is really good fun. I'd like to like get to the point where I played all of them and I could say, oh, look, I've played every single venue in my hometown, which would be awesome.
Very, very cool. Do you have plans for any sort of like solo album anytime in the future?
I would really love to do a solo project. I've tried. Well, I am currently messing around with a couple of bass lines and stuff, and trying to create something that's based, if that makes sense, but doesn't take away from the rest of the song, if that makes sense at all.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very
Yeah, so I think something like that would be really good.
And if you could have a band play your music, what would your dream band be? What do you envision?
I mean, I just like people that I can get on with and that are happy to sort of take in what I'd like to do, but also I've been more than like happy to sort of get any feedback from them. I think that's really important. Communication within a band, absolutely, and not having any kind of like animosity between members. And yeah, I mean, I'm quite open to any kind of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. I'm looking at these questions that I sent previously. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. About how many hours do you spend practicing in a week?
So because obviously I do teach and I teach that, so I use that partially as practice time, kind of. It's at least time I get to play my bass, because obviously I'm quite busy with my full-time job. But after that, I have usually have free evenings, so I just spend the rest of my time practicing then usually. because I'm already in sort of like that head zone of playing the bass, and sort of, I don't know, I might have like had a couple of ideas, like something a student might have said, or a song a student might want to learn, or something might sort of spark something, if you know what I mean. So that is usually my favorite time to practice, because I already feel inspired.
So is your full-time job actually teaching?
Unfortunately not, no. I really wish it was. I would love it to be, but no, unfortunately not. I work in accounts.
Oh, okay. Well, we all have to make a living, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes people just think us as musicians that we can just do it full time, and some of us can't. Some of us can. Some of us can't. And
Yeah.
it's accountants, drivers, truck drivers, construction workers, pot farmers, caregivers, nurses. You'd be surprised. I mean, everybody's doctors. I don't know. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here. Next question. Have you messed with a looper? Like Stacey builds some amazing layers and textures, almost like a movie soundtrack. All right, a looper. Are you familiar?
Yes, I do have a looper pedal, and that is one of the things that I've used to try and construct like a nice, like, layered sort of thing going on with my bass. And that's, I think, definitely one of the best ways to go with writing songs and stuff. Again, especially on a bass, because if you don't have any other experience on any other instruments, that's all you've got. So to be able to actually layer the different parts and hear what the bass line will sound like, and then creating a melody line over the top of it and being able to hear them both at the same time, I think is really, really useful.
Very nice. All right. Oh, we got Jason Perry in the house. What's up, Jason? How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Mama Can too, all the way from South Texas. What's up, Mama? She wants to know if you have a favorite venue that you've played at.
Oh, favorite venue. I think there have been a few. There was a really cool one in London that I played. What's it called? I think it was like the Slaughtered Lamb or something. It was really cool. They had like a light up pentagram and stuff. That was really cool. It's like underground and all. Yeah.
All right. So you said that Cliff Burton is a huge influence on you. Would you say that the style of music that you play is closely resembled to that Metallica and other hard rock legends?
I mean, I would like to think it was, but I don't actually, because I grew up on thrash metal. I never had an emo phase. My phase was 80s metal. So that's where the whole thing with Cliff came from. And as much as that's sort of what I grew up on, I don't necessarily listen to as much of it anymore. I think the main stuff that I listen to at the moment is more like nu metal and sort of progressive. I think between those two, I sort of tend to float between. But Metallica will always be like my number one, if you know what I mean. Like, I've sort of come from them.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so I think main influences would be sort of like obviously Cliff, but then you get people like Fieldy, who very controversial. Every time I tell someone I like Fieldy and I think he's really cool, everyone's like, Fieldy. But I think he's really cool, and I like the fact that he's done something different with it.
Wait. Could you? What's his name again?
Fieldy from Korn, the bass player of Korn.
Oh, yes, got you. People. Wait, I thought Raw Diaz was the bass player for Korn.
He's stepping in for Fieldy at the moment. So Fieldy is their sort of long-time bass player, but I think Fieldy's I don't know whether it's a health problem or something, but he's currently not playing with the band. So Ra is playing with them at the moment, but he's like awesome as well.
Love Raw Diaz. I was able to interview him last year. If you guys have not checked out that episode, go check it out on the Sunshine Show. Stream it on everywhere you get your podcasts. All right. What's up, Marco? How you doing? Thank you for hanging out with us. We got Kelsey K of the Bass Players United family in the house. What's up, Kelsey? How you doing, girl? All right, cool. So bucket list bands you could like be in or tour with, or
Oh, if I could tour with anybody, I think at the moment Korn would be amazing. If I could tour with Korn or like be on like their lineup or whatever, that would be amazing. Coheed and Cambria as well are a massive one. I love Coheed and Cambria. I was lucky enough to meet them last year as well. I watched them at our local O2 venue, and yeah, I got the chance to meet them backstage, and I was just like, oh my god, had a proper moment. But yeah, Coheed and Cambria, Ginger as well. Yeah, that would be
Ginger.
really cool.
What is
Yeah.
Ginger?
They are a band from Ukraine. They are quite heavy. Like, the vocalist Tatiana, she's like amazing. She can go from like really like dirty gutturals to like a really melodic, lovely kind of sounding voice. So I love the fact that she can do that. And their bass player Eugene is like, he's incredible. I think if you want to learn how to tap, watch him. Like that would be the guy I would tell you to go to.
Very nice. All right, let's see. Kelsey says Ginger are amazing, incredible bassists.
Yeah,
All right,
completely. Yeah.
got to go check them out after we get done with this interview. So basically, Tiggy, what you're saying is you're going to replace Raw Diaz on the bass.
Well, I'd like to. I don't think anyone could be other than Ty Trujillo. I know, because he filled in for not Radiaz, for Fieldy on one of their previous tours, which is really cool because I know that's Rob Trujillo from Metallica's son.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So I think those two are really good replacements. As much as I'd love to play with Korn, I don't think I'm anything compared to like someone like Fieldy. I think they're perfect fits.
Do you know Raw Diaz's story? So he was actually like the fan club member of like Suicidal Tendencies fan club.
Yes, yeah.
And got to know the band. And when they needed a bass player, who did they call? Raw Diaz. That's who they called.
Absolutely, and good on them. Yeah.
John Hines with a big old nasty get down in the house. He says Brian Martini did too.
Yes, he's another bass player I'd recommend for tapping as well, because he does some crazy stuff. I think he's a bass player of Mudvayne.
Okay, very cool. So are these some of the people that you've actually studied to perfect your tapping technique?
I've definitely tried. I mean, there's some songs by Mudvayne, I mean, are just insane. I'd love to learn something like a song called Happy or Dig, I think is the one that everyone knows. Those, as much as they're incredible songs, they are so difficult and so technical. So I will get there at some point. I'm working on it. But yeah, I think if I can get there at some point, that would be great.
Very cool. Let's see. Kelsey K says, you never know. Fans usually get to step in. Becky Baldwin is a great example.
Absolutely. Yes. I think she went on tour with Merciful Fate recently, which is just the craziest thing.
So amazing. The opportunities that present themselves when you put yourself out there. You never know what you're going to get unless you try.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. Just put yourself out there. Even if you're like nervous or you're worried about it, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Exactly. Let's see. John says his tuning is the secret. Are we talking about Ryan Martini or Raw Diaz?
I would assume Ryan Martini, I reckon, because I think there's some pretty bizarre tunings for Mudvayne.
All right, very cool. Are you a Slipknot fan?
Yes, I do love Slipknot. Yeah, Slipknot are great. I got to see them at Download 2019. And I'm going this year as well, so I think I get to see them again, which will be awesome.
What about System of a Down?
Yes, I love System of a Down. I think they're brilliant. Haven't had the pleasure of seeing them yet, but I would like to see them live for sure.
Very nice, very nice. All right, we talked about kind of getting nervous. Do you have stage fright at all before you perform?
Yeah, sometimes. I think it's quite natural for people to get really before it. But I find once you get on there, like once you get on stage and you actually start getting in the moment, it all goes away. I found more recently, because I'm just getting back into sort of playing live, it's harder to sort of get past that initial nerve thing. So you do find that sometimes it can affect your playing, and then you're like, oh, I know I could have done better if I just wasn't as nervous. So I think just trying not to build it up too much and just going for it is the best thing to do.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to turn the mind off when you're on stage and just really, not think about anything. Just hopefully you practice the set enough that you know it by heart, and that's the only thing that you should be concentrating on when you get on stage.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, guys, we're going to go about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to start wrapping this up. So if you have any more questions or comments, drop them there in the comment section. And thank you guys all for hanging out with me and Tiggy this beautiful day. You guys could be anywhere in the world and you're here with us, and it means everything to have your support. All right, Tiggy. One question that I ask all of my guests. I did not send this one to you because I wanted you to be on the spot for this one.
Okay. Yeah.
If you could have a dinner party for any 5 musicians, dead or alive, who would those 5 musicians be, and what would you serve at your dinner party?
Oh, that's an amazing question. I love that. So, again, number 1, Cliff Burton. Would have to be Cliff Burton, for sure. Just it'd be really interesting because I know he started learning from a really young age and learned classical and stuff. So it'd be really interesting to talk to him about that. Number 2, Peter Steele, I think would be a really interesting one. Sort of, I do like Type O Negative as well. I think he's got an incredible bass tone. So actually having a conversation with him about that would be really cool. Tatiana from Ginger. I'd love, like, as much as she isn't a bass player, she's a really, I find her really inspiring. So being able to talk to her again, just sort of about her journey in music and stuff, would be really cool. Who else? Trying to rack my brain. 2 more. It's a difficult one. I'm gonna go with Claudio from Coheed and Cambria, the lead singer. He's really interesting because the whole concept of Coheed and Cambria is based on these comic books that he's written. So the music narrates the comic books. So I'd sort of love to go into that sort of concept with him and how he came up with it, and all of that. I think that would be really awesome. And one more, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, for sure. Steve Harris, because I want to know how he makes it. Like, I've watched him. I got to watch him live with British Lion. I was literally like 2 rows from the front, and I was like this, watching him play and trying to figure out how he does that. His like triplet technique, because I'm always like, I always play with 3 fingers if I'm doing triplets, but he doesn't do that, and I can't quite figure out what he does. So I'd love to know the magic behind that.
Very
so
cool.
those would be the musicians, and then what I would serve. Are we going 3 courses?
Ooh, whatever you would like, Tiggy. This is your dinner party.
Oh, right. Okay. So classic garlic bread, I reckon, for start.
Okay.
Maybe cheesy garlic bread as well, but love a bit of garlic bread. And then mains. Fajitas. I think I love Mexican food. So fajitas, definitely. And then dessert, brownies and ice cream.
All right.
Yeah. A warm brownie or churros. Churros are nice as well, but warm brownie on ice cream.
Okay, so garlic bread, and then we're gonna move on to fajitas, and then we're gonna end with ice cream and a nice warm brownie or some churros.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, having heard that back, I realised how much of a bizarre combination of food that is. But I think if I was sticking to the same sort of cuisine as such, I would go nachos for starters. But I do love garlic bread.
Oh my god, I'm loving this. I'm living for this. No, Dawn, you're not breaking out of the basement anytime soon. Dawn stays in the basement. No food for Dawn unless he gets all the social media work done for the day. All right, let's see. Marco wants to know how you feel about Sebastian Bach. What do you think about him? Marco says, I use his music to improve my technique. Very nice.
That's a really good idea. I've never thought of doing that before. I think classical music is definitely I think it's quite a big influence on metal and stuff. As much as it seems like they're complete polar opposites, I think there's a lot more in common with each other than I think people realize. So I think, yeah, using something like Bach to actually perfect your technique and sort of get an idea and reading the music and stuff, I think is a really good way to do that.
Very, very cool. Marco, thank you. Marco, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're in Italy, right? I think so. Let's see. Mama Cantu says, it's your party. We can have it all, Tiggy. All right. Is there a lot of Mexican restaurants in the UK?
There are quite a few, yeah. We've got a couple of chain ones. I can't think of any off the top of my head now, but yeah, there are quite a few. Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
do you guys have like Chipotle over there?
We don't have Chipotle, no, but I did recently. I went on a trip to Cardiff, and they had a Taco Bell there, and I'd never had it before, and it's so good. I wish we had more of them.
Wow. I wonder like if they like because like every like when they have like McDonald's in like Japan or something, they always have like weird food menus because they like kind of try to, incorporate like the local cuisine. So I'd be so interested to see a menu from Taco Bell. In
Absolutely, yeah.
the UK. Send me, send it to me sometime when you get a chance. I guess I could look it up too, but
Yeah.
I just think that's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like how they do that as well because I think I went to Thailand once and they had like rice and stuff. I don't know if that's normal in KFC, but they had like um, Thai food in their KFC menu, which was really cool.
That is crazy. Let's see. Sarah Walker from Sarah Plays the Bass. Her favorite thing is KFC. That's true. Sarah loves her some KFC. All right,
KFC
let's
is
see.
good.
Kelsey says, I thought he actually lived in the basement. Kelsey, he does live in the basement. What are you talking about? All right. All right, guys, we're having such a great time with Tiggy out of the UK. We're going to start wrapping this up. So if you guys have any last minute questions, drop them there in the comment section. Let me check this calendar to see who I have coming up next. I believe I have the beautiful artist Lola Quinn tomorrow evening. And then I have the band Two Piece on Friday, the 24th. All right, looking forward to those interviews. All right, Tiggy. So what are we seeing in your future? You got anything special you're working on, or is it top secret?
Well, there's a few things I can say. So I know I've got a photo shoot coming up this Saturday actually, because I'm looking when I reach 20,000 followers, I'm looking to start a Patreon, which would be really cool. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I've had everything set up for it for like a good while now, and I just haven't found the right time to do it yet. And I feel like as I'm coming up to 20,000, I think might be a good time. So yeah, I think trying to get that up together and ready to go, and actually trying to get to 20,000 as well.
How much longer? How many more followers do you need to get to 20,000?
2,000 roughly. Yeah.
We
So
can
I'm
do
nearly
that.
definitely I'm nearly there. It's just a couple of pieces of content away, I think. But yeah, once I get there, I think Patreon will be the next step. And there people will be able to see more of the projects and stuff that I've got going on sort of in the background. That don't necessarily get shown as much on my Instagram, but they will be very soon.
That is a great way for you to make money as well, too.
Definitely. I think it's something that people should really start doing. And one of the things I wanted to do as well is Instagram subscriptions, because I know that they've introduced that in the US, but it's not a thing in the UK at the moment, which is a real shame. But I'm looking forward to when they actually release it in the UK, so then I can actually start using that as well.
That is awesome. All right, let's see. Marco says Bach plays Baroque. I don't know. I'm probably missaying this. Do you know how to say? Is it Baroque?
I think it's Baroque.
All right, Baroque style. You're 1700, like Antonio Vivaldi and Niccolo Paganini. Oh my God, I'm just butchering all the names today. Marco,
The only thing I know about Paganini, I think, is that he was the one. He had something to do with the devil, I think, if I remember correctly, and had some kind of controversy about that. But that's, I think, all I know about that that person.
Well, we're gonna look it up after we get off of here. All right. One of the last questions that I have for you from Daniel Bayanez, who's been your favorite heavy metal drummer. Mine was the late great Vinnie Paul of Pantera.
For sure, Vinnie Paul's really cool. Metal drummers. I think the drummer for Ginger is really cool. I can't remember what his. I think his name's Saab. I think. And I love because there's a certain few bands where you can really tell the drumming style and match it with the person. And I think he's got a really distinctive drumming style, so that would be really cool. And also Josh Eppard from Coheed. I know they're not like hardcore metal or anything, but he's got an incredible drum technique. And he's got a really distinctive style too. So I think both of them are really cool.
Very nice. All right. Last question. What is your best piece of advice you can give everybody watching at home on the live stream and everybody listening on the podcast?
I think the fact that you can learn something from everyone is like a really important thing. Like even if you're sat there, I don't know, you're watching like a video, you're in a lecture or whatever, even if it's to do with bass or if it's not, or if it's to do with the instrument, whatever you're doing, even if you're bored out of your mind, find something that you can say that you've learned from that. Because I think being able to do that and take something away from everything is really, really important. So yeah, that.
Very, very nice. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get going?
I don't think so. I think just with the whole Instagram thing, advice for people who are sort of trying to build their following on Instagram. I think some of the main things are more like consistency, the branding that I said about knowing your audience as well, where your audience are from, what works well, what doesn't, whether reels work, and experimenting so you can sort of hone in on what you're trying to do. And where you're trying to get. So I think that as well is some advice I would give people who are trying to get somewhere on Instagram.
Very nice. Thank you so much for your time, Tiggy. I had such a fun chat with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Absolutely. Anytime you'd like to come back on, just give me a little buzz, or my beautiful secretary, Dawn, down in the basement. He's here for us, all right? He's here for the people. You guys, this episode has been brought to you in part by Bass Players United, the place for bass. I feel like that's not their tagline, but I'm making it the tagline today. And also Sunshine and the Bass Kids. If you guys are not already members of Sunshine and the Bass Kids, go do that today. We got a lot of really cool stuff happening in the group. All right, guys, so we're going to call it a day. I want you guys all to go out and seize the day. Make it your oyster. Is that what you're supposed to do with the world? I feel like it, right? Make the world. Be kind to the people around you. You never know the battles that everybody's facing. Try to keep a smile on your face and be safe out there, guys. It's a dangerous world. All right, Tiggy, on 3, we're going to say bye. You ready?
Ready, yes.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Adios. Bye.